welcome back to On the Go Gyan, your pocket dose of podcast Gyan. My name is Rohit.
I am Ajay.
And in this episode, we are going to talk about the best place to work.
Well, I think today's episode is a very special one. We have a guest among us who has been in corporate for a very long time. So let me first ask my colleague and my mentor in the corporate world, Jeevendar Jeev, to introduce yourself, please, Jeev.
Thanks, Ajay. That's very humbling. I've been in corporate for long, close to like 2 decades now, and been with Cisco for the past 15 years. And it's been an exciting journey within Cisco. And I've been in various teams of IT, finance, and back in IT. So, and have played various roles, wore various hats across groups. So, and it's been fun with all the excitement, with all the changes around market transitions and things like that. So it's good, and also like peers, many of us, our team, and specifically Ajay, and also many others. It's been like good to work with as well. Yeah, that's pretty much about me.
That's great. So for the listeners out there, the way I knew Jeev is when I started my career at Cisco. One of the very first persons whom I have been working with ever since my three and a half years at Cisco. And it's really surprising to know that Jeev's experience at Cisco has been more than half of my entire life for now.
That's so true. I mean, when I talk to someone who's senior and they say I've been in the industry for 20 years, I just reverse calculate and I'm like, I was doing probably 2 plus 2 when this person started. And that's really, I go back into that mental state where I'm like sitting down and there is this Guruji in front under a banyan tree and giving moksha. That's the full picture that comes to my mind when I'm talking to someone this senior. Thank you so much, Jeev, for joining us and talking to us about Cisco. And a lot of people probably don't know this. Cisco won the best place to work 2 years in a row. Not the first time, but the second time in a row. And who better than Jeev to talk about this, that how has his experience been in the last 15 years in Cisco and what differences he has found from other companies. So, Jeev, direct question. What do you think makes Cisco the best place to work?
That's a very candid and a good question. Thanks for that, Rohit. And I'm not a Guruji. Like, I don't even consider myself close to it. Giving gyan. But what makes Cisco a good best company to work for? It cares for its employees, to be blunt and open. Because as far as I worked in a couple of companies prior to coming in Cisco, and Cisco trusts its employees much. Even the policies, the benefits, the comforts, all of this aside, the company in itself, the major security policy, they always tell is employees are the eyes and ears of Cisco. So that's to what extent they trust you. And any and every program that's been launched is always for and to employees. So that makes it so evident that the company would not be, though I can quote many examples, things like that. But what makes it more seamless is the care for you to the company. So the company that cares for you during your time of distress is what it makes that. And second, you have it's like another Fortune 500 company. Like you have all the Facebooks, Googles, Apples of the world, and most importantly, here people who come in. I've seen, like, I was in Cisco for like close to 1.5 decades now, and I've seen people like getting retired at Cisco. Like they join and it's not they'll be in the same group. They'll move around groups. They'll go higher in their career ladder and things like that. But yeah, you have equal amount of opportunity, support, and policies that support you. So I think these things make Cisco edge past the rest.
Nice, nice. That's really good to hear.
Do you think it's something to do with family also? The way Cisco treats the family members of its employees. Do you think that also plays a part?
Yeah, and so I've seen even like there were even small things like uh, when I joined Cisco way back in 2005 and 6. So I'll just give you an example for that answer. I took my parents. I asked them to come over to my company. Oh, they were like, "Oh, you can come go and visit your company." They were like, "Yeah, yeah, you can." So they were like, "Okay, I've not heard a company of this name because I mean they don't come from a technology world, or they're like my father was a government servant and he knows only Wipros and Infosys of the world." So he was like actually telling me half a decade, 1.5 decade back that hey, I know you got into some IT company, but try to get into something like Infosys or Wipro. Okay, I mean, I didn't. I could have laughed at it, but I could have understood his ignorance because he doesn't come from a tech industry. And then I didn't answer to them. Then I just kept quiet. I nodded my head and just kept quiet. And I took them to our company, and I showed them around and how the company is. How are we like? It's not only about the facilities that you have within the campus or like the to and fro cab facility or anything around, right? So the whole work culture in itself. So all of this, when they were like, when they kind of experienced it personally, they were like in all awe. So they were like, "Oh wow, this I don't think so. Any other company I've seen like this." And that's when I told like, yeah, I mean, people actually really like to work in a company like this. So the way you treat your extended family, be it in terms of benefits or like how you consider you among them as well as your Cisco extended family, is what also makes it special.
I actually completely resonate with this because my mom and my dad have visited the campus, and it's not just about that they go into the campus and they're like, oh, too many good facilities, but it's also when they come to your cubicle, how your teammates are talking to them, and what is the entire ambience that you're sitting in. That also, I think, contributes to the entire feeling of being part of Cisco.
Right, right. And I have been doing a little research myself, and the way that both of you have described, it resonates with one of the points that I found over here. It says a company is awarded the best company to work by this factor. It's called I'm proud to tell others that I work here. And I think both of you have experienced that line.
Yeah,
So,
very true.
I'm actually also thinking about the point of emphasis because I still get that. Not from my dad, obviously, but from my grandfather, actually. He thinks about TCS Infosys like these big giants, and he's like, "What is Cisco?" So I get to hear that, and then a couple of parents also say that, "Why don't you get into a government job?" Like, I'm happy where I am.
Yeah, and
right.
even there are many other things internally also, right? I mean, nobody restricts you from what you're doing. So there is your day job that you are assigned to. There are certain projects that you work on, like, and apart from that, what interests you, right? So you can do that. I mean, I attend everyday yoga in the morning. That again within the company, all the company's colleagues, we form a yoga group, and because of pandemic, we do it virtually. Nobody stops us. That's the freedom you have been given. And apart from the projects that I've associated, I'm also associated with a lot of CSR activities. I mean, Ajay is associated with CSR activities as such. And I'm also doing some extra stretch goals with some platform consolidation team with another manager. So I told my manager that I'm all these things that are being on my plate, I'm handling them, but I have some additional interest. I'll be taking that up, and nobody tells no until unless you're not dropping the ball of what you're doing that's on your plate. So it's a fairly open culture. So that what one you're doing your day job, and you're also doing, if you want to, if your interests are more than beyond it, and you're doing that as well. So be it stretch, CSR, or any activities without mentoring. Okay, so these are the activities or things that literally I think differentiates it from another company, wherein nobody is asking or like monitoring you, micromanaging or what you are doing like last 1 hour or 5 hours or whatever, right? So
I think the best example of what you were saying is now this is a typical work time, I think, for all three of us, and all of us are sitting here recording this podcast. So very good point at that, Jeev.
And that actually gives you the flexibility to grow also, not just in your professional field, what you will be doing probably for the next entire life, but also in your personal fields. Like I remember we would have this meditation class that was around 2 o'clock. It used to happen in the cafeteria
17.
first floor, that not 17, in the clubhouse cafeteria.
Absolutely.
And
that's correct.
Half an hour you get time out and you are just meditating, and no one stops you from it. I mean, if you have to go and tell your manager that I am going for this, like, okay, please. And that, I think, for me has really helped me grow, because I'm not just doing like 4 years into the industry, I have zero clue about what things are. But I also get that time and flexibility to go a little extra mile, do a little bit extra and gather more expertise. And even if you fail, I've seen this, a lot of people in Cisco have that attitude that it's okay. And that makes you feel secure.
You're absolutely right, Rohit. So to add on to that, I mean, nobody bothers of what you're doing at what time, but things like whatever is your delivery, I think you're on top of it, and your initiatives, you are 100% to it. So apart from that, what you do additional is your own interests, your career, and you are more responsible for it. So there might be mentors who can help you with, but more than that, I mean, it is more like you drive your whole career pathway, and you are responsible for it.
Right. I think one of the things that I can think of is we don't have the swipe in, swipe out, where our times are being recorded, and there are so many companies who do that. And that in itself feels like such a burden that is off your head, because you're not worried and you can just do anything.
Very true.
Right. I think what both of you have said resonates with the second point in my research regarding the best place to work. So it says, I am able to take time off from work when I think it is necessary. Cisco truly facilitates that, I think. So, Jeev, I have a very interesting question for you, or a different perspective that Rohit and I have not experienced firsthand. Mm-hmm. How do you think Cisco treats office travel, or how are the facilities compared to others, maybe?
You mean to say local travel within, or
any kind of travel that you remember, any official travel?
Oh, international travel?
Whichever, yeah, whatever is on your mind that has a very good experience.
I think international travels are always been safe and secure with Cisco. So there are instances or quotes within our team that many things have happened. So I think this was one of the situation wherein one of our teammate was supposed to get a L1 visa to US, and he had flown to Chennai, and because of huge floods and rain that was happening in Chennai, so he was kind of stuck at one place. So SSPR was the one safety and security group tried to reach him, so he was not accessible, and they were like on the verge of contacting. They actually contacted the government of Chennai and asked them to kind of bail him out from there and things like that. So there were rescue operations going on it. But when they had reached out and they started to initiate this, by then he got back telling that he was safe. So there are a lot of things like that which I can remember. And even I myself was going to San Jose once, and my flight here in Bangalore got delayed by 4 hours. So I missed all my interconnecting flights. And I had to go to Dubai and again come back all the way back to Hong Kong. And in Hong Kong, there were no rooms booked and things like that. So we called up SSBR and they told, you can kind of take up something which is there in the lounge, whatever is there. So that will not cost extra. It will be kind of accommodated for. So those things are pretty well taken care of if you are in trouble during international travel. So that's one really good thing. And this was my own experience when I had gone to San Jose. We had a release on one of our applications, which Ajay was also part of, Help Zone. And I had a severe toothache. I couldn't stop myself because tooth is not, it'll just like go into your head and back, right? So I couldn't literally sit. So they took me to the health center and everything. And they're like a lot of, I mean, you have experts, though they were telling like, oh, you come from India and things like that. You didn't have that insurance and to cover up. But I just spoke to manager there, our director, and she told, please go ahead and get yourself treated. So, I mean, these are some things that when I tell they take care of your employees well, are examples of me seeing it in first hand. So, which I would definitely tell, which makes it different from rest of other companies.
I actually got goosebumps when you were talking about Chennai. I mean, to that extent, if your company is doing, I had that sudden urge that I don't want to change.
True.
Probably not good at my stage of career, but I just had that gush of emotion and like, no, I'm not leaving Cisco. So that really gives you that secure feeling. Ajay, have you had any such situations where you felt Cisco had your back? Right.
True.
Okay, question for you both. Do you think the facilities that we are given by Cisco, do you think that is more important, or will you put the culture that the company has and the way your teammates and your manager treats you? Do you put that above facilities? Jeev?
I'll put the culture beyond the facilities. Culture comes first. Facilities might be there, but if you are restricted to use it, so what's the point, right? So the culture, irrespective of who it is, or who is your manager or your peer, so that pretty much comes up first. And facilities would be there across, but culture is like individually one team basis or like individual persona basis. I think that the whole of Cisco is like that. That means the whole Cisco culture is like that. So that's what takes precedence. But yeah, on the other hand, facilities also matters. It's not only the facilities you give in house within the for the employees, but also other things that are there that matters both. I think put together consolidatedly is what has been kept Cisco like for to be the best company to work for in a second year in a row.
Right. I actually agree with Jeev. I have heard of campuses where there are good facilities, but employees are almost restricted to use them. They say like if there is a place of relaxation, you can go there a max of 1 hour a week. Who needs a facility when you can't use it, right? So culture would precede the facility of the campus.
Actually, that recalls me to the massage chairs that we have. When I had
Right.
just
I
joined
miss them.
Cisco, I would go every day there, spend 15-20 minutes. But then after a month, when I got settled into my work, it just naturally reduced. There was no one who said no. It's just that
True.
one, you're working on something that you really like, so you don't find the time out for relaxation. You're just into the mode and into the zone, and you're just doing your work. And there are so many facilities. Now I recall, I've not even seen in the campus. Like the clubhouse gym, I've not even seen. I sit in building 18. I've not even gone to that far.
Yeah, for us, it's on the other way around. We'd
Right.
seldomly go to building 17 and 18 for playing games, and because we sit close to building 11, so we go to the building 11 clubhouse gym, and also the yoga center there. So on the other side, we seldomly go.
I think just to put it to scale, one of my friends came to the campus for visiting, and from building 18, when we reached building 17, she was like, my office just ends in this much space. And that's just two buildings of Cisco.
And for people who are wondering, we are talking about the Cessna Business Park campus in Kadubisnalli, Bangalore.
Right.
Correct.
I mean, and it's not even the
is-
biggest.
Yeah, it's the second
San
biggest.
Jose is the biggest.
Yeah.
And I think San Jose, they use carts to go between buildings.
Yeah, there are shuttle services, and we had around 63 odd buildings in San Jose. That's been reduced to 48. So they have given a lot of spaces in San Jose because of lesser occupancy and things like that. And also, like, yeah, there is one dedicated building only for life connections, healthcare, and gym. Okay, and Creech as well. So there are two Creeches in San Jose, and also, like, the buildings in San Jose are not vertical; they are horizontal more. And I think it's Cisco is spread across few like 50 or 60 odd acres of campus there.
I really want to go there, but I was telling Ajay I'll never get official travel
Right.
in my line of work. And Ajay is running after getting a visa and all. Like, I wish.
It was pre-COVID, so no use in talking about that because we don't even know when we are going to see our chairs again, right?
I have mixed feelings for you, okay?
Yes.
I'm like happy that you're not going because I was not getting a chance, but I'm also like sad that you're not going.
I got you. Yes.
I want you both to think back and just think of one incident in COVID that when you recall, you feel that thank God I'm part of Cisco.
Ajay, you can go first.
Yeah. I would say maybe.
Are
Give
there
me a
too
minute.
many or are there too less?
I can pitch in. I work from home was never a challenge earlier, because in Cisco we used to work from home a lot, or at least I used to work from home 2 days in a week, because the traffic sucks near the office, and like, okay, now I get to work from home every day, and I never had like a proper working table and chair, things like that. And the company policy told me, hey, you know what? I know many of you guys do that, so please go ahead and this is like the token budget, and please go ahead and order if you guys don't have any facilities like that. Many of us use laptops, so they just told, okay, if you want to use monitors, via keyboards and mouses, things like that, right? So that's one thing that the top of my head, that Cisco gave, just like as the COVID was happening. So this is something that they gave, and also they also gave some things like every month there was a last day of the Friday was off. Because of COVID, nobody was taking PTO because nobody is going in out anywhere. So Cisco consciously told you guys take off, disconnect from your laptops, don't work. Okay, and because this was a HR policy, and we coming from Cisco HR IT, we know this because that leads to undue stress. I mean, first of all, things around you were so negative or so negated, but so we wanted family time as well. Being at home, we couldn't go anywhere. So yeah, that's where I felt it's always good to work for a company that cares for your employees, right?
I think one thing that I can strongly say, that accepting and acknowledging the fact that employees are overworking because of the work from home thing, and then giving them that extra off was really important, because I would feel that I don't want to take leave because I'm not going anywhere, and probably that's the thought we all had, that we are not going to do anything on a leave, might as well sit in front of laptop and work. But then Cisco forcing to take that leave actually is refreshing back.
You're right.
It's like when someone is holding a stick and asking you to go for a walk when you're 80 kgs like me.
Absolutely. And also, they even this is another thing that happened prior to COVID. So there were Cisco was as part of the LR program, the business changes. There were certain employees who were asked to leave. So they were notified prior to COVID. So after COVID happened, and during COVID, their end date was there. But Cisco told, you know what, we'll not take the employees during the COVID. So even if we will extend it post COVID, so up to like July end or August or something, until the whole thing kind of settled down. So they didn't even let go the employees; they were paying them, though they were not been assigned any projects and things like that. Cisco was still paying them. I think that felt was a real noble cause, because they are the people in need, right? So that what would make it special any day, because company at the end of the day always sees profits. I mean, that's how it is, and businesses, right? So having a human touch to it is what makes it special.
Yeah, I can also relate this to a lot of donations that Cisco makes. So you have these monthly or bi-yearly donations that, hey, you donate, let's say 5,000 rupees, Cisco will pay another 5,000 rupees and donate a sum of 10,000 rupees towards a charitable cause. No such company does that or gives away money like that, right? So Cisco not only cares for its employees, but I would say cares for the environment and the world around us also. Though it's a very big statement, but that's the way I see it.
I think there are a lot of innovation challenges also that Cisco globally holds, and then invest into the ideas and projects that come up from those. And that in itself shows that Cisco can put that money anywhere in the name of saving the environment. But they go through the technology route, finds what is innovative and what can actually have the most impact, and invest into that. That's like going the extra mile, even though you have the money and you can do anything with it, but still going that extra mile and putting it at the right place. Like what Jeev said, you can have all the best facilities, but if you don't use it well or you don't have the permissions, no point of having them.
You're right, Rohit. Yeah, that's a good question. I think this goes out to any company which is even best or not. So I think integrity is something that towards the company is something that we should always have. Though you kind of work in different areas of your the different scope of areas that you work, like be it sales, marketing, core engineering. That's pretty much what we all do, and things like that. So integrity towards the company in many ways is what matters the most, and misusing of facilities or the taking advantage of things is what shouldn't be kind of curtailed. So, and Cisco never stops you from you go and pitching and coming up with a lot of innovative ideas as well. So the you can leverage all of those things to kind of make it a better place to innovate or work and things like that. So these are my 2 cents on it.
Ajay, what do you do to make Cisco a better place to work?
I would agree with Jeev on whatever he said, but I think the primary or the most important thing is you have a set of documentations or rules that the company has set for you, but it's totally up to you whether you obey them or not. For instance, you take your there is a rule that guests are not allowed to your workplace, right? But you take them because you know that you are not going to violate any other rule or damage anything else while using Cisco facility. So that integrity that Jeev talked about, I think, is the most key aspect of it. Well, do you have any take on it?
Every company has its own values, has its own mission, vision, all those things. As long as we don't take away from it and only contribute more. Like my value of integrity, I'm contributing to the company's 3 values. I think that is what will make the company more rich into those values and make it a better place to work. And honestly, when I look around, if I can think of one single thing that I do to contribute to that factor is being open and accepting what is around, even if there are opinions that you don't like, accepting it and still going along with it. That is one thing that I can think of.
Well, I think we have done a lot of marketing for Cisco as employees, 3 of us.
I think we should reach out to VR Cisco and try and...
We should do that. We'll do that, definitely. So, Jeev, do you have any final thoughts on the term best place to work Cisco?
I think the best place to work Cisco is in itself in India is like in itself a great thing, a great feat, because when everyone feels that way, it will become a movement and it will be successful in coming years to come as well. I don't think so. It should stop at second consecutive year or so. So this is something here to stay, is what I feel.
That is great. Thank you so much, Jeev, for joining us today in this lovely conversation about Cisco. I think all 3 of us were longing for this kind of conversation because we have been not seeing the campus for a very long time. I mean, I truly enjoyed it. So that's my take on it. Rohit, do you have anything to add?
Just that 3 Cisconians have been praising Cisco for the last half an hour.
Thank you very much.
But it was really fun. It brings back a lot of memories from office, and I can say that after talking to you, Jeev, I have that little bit of extra strong feeling that I want to stay in Cisco.
Good one, Rohit. I think even that makes me a lot of memories that I could recall or share my own experience of. And thanks for this opportunity. It was been really wonderful. Thank you, guys.
So thank you, everyone. And Jeev, if you have any contact, like your LinkedIn profile or something that you would want our viewers to see, please share it and we'll put it across in the notes. So people, if you're listening to this, you can get in touch with Jeev through his profile. We thank you for your time in listening to We Are Cisco. And this is another episode of On The Go Gyan. We'll see you in our next episode. Stay healthy and stay safe.